Hello Grid 9. Today I want to tell you something more about engines. Because knowing something about engines is quite nice, since you can prevent stuff like this happening. Or this. Or even this. And that's why let's begin. Go! Okay, so there are three different types of engines. One is a steam engine, second is a normal gasoline engine, like the one that needs ignition, and a diesel engine. I'm gonna show the difference between all of them, but for now we are gonna start with the basic one. This. Okay, so the application we're gonna be using is from somebody called Ange the Great, who basically makes different engine simulators, and for this one we are gonna be using one of it, which is called the Steam Engine Simulator on Steam, which you can get for free, and it's very good, obviously, for me to show it off.
Okay, so the engine consists of three main parts: the boiler, the piston, the flywheel, a fourth one which is the water intake thingy, because water is important for anything that exists on Earth, the whistle, because why not, and the exhaust, so that the steam engine can fart out the hot gases, so that it doesn't explode. Okay, so how it works is that when I warm up the water, it will start bringing up the temperature, and the temperature will get more steam, and steam will build up pressure, which we can release by opening this valve, which will then make it start pushing on the piston. However, as you can see, the piston was not in the right position for the pressure to spin it up. In that case, you need to use a starter so that it brings the piston into the right position for the steam to correctly spin up the engine and will allow it to run. And as you can see at the top, the steam is coming out from the exhaust, and the actual most important part of the steam engine is this thing right here, because it opens the path for the steam when the piston is going down, and opens the path to the exhaust when the piston is going upwards. Also, using this oogly boogly in the bottom right corner, you can apply load to the brake and it will slow it down.
Now that we have looked at some steam engines, let's look at some other engines. The normal engines that we see in today's cars, like the gasoline engine, that is considered the primary engine for new products. So, as I said, let's talk about the... So the normal engine works in a similar fashion, where there is a piston that is going down when getting pushed by gases, and then it moves back up to push the gases out. Except instead of pressurized steam, it is explosion gases from ignited gasoline. Okay, so for the gasoline engine, we are gonna be using another app from the dude I've mentioned earlier, because he also made a normal engine simulator, and I do not need to explain why this is nice.
So basically this app is called the Engine Simulator, obviously, and you can get it from GitHub. It is not on Steam, so do not look there. This engine has four main parts: the crankshaft, the piston itself, the exhaust valve, and the intake valve. Oh, and also the camshaft. Also, there is supposed to be something called the spark plug, which was meant to be placed right here, but for some reason the dude didn't bother to draw it, so I guess we're gonna have to put one here manually. Now this is a 4-stroke engine, which means that it needs to go up and down 4 times to complete a cycle. During the cycle, it's gonna be pulling in gas, then contracting it, then it's gonna be igniting it and getting pushed downwards, and then gonna be pushing the exhaust outwards, and then it repeats. All of these four actions are being controlled by the valves. The valves are being pushed by the camshaft because the camshaft is indirectly connected to the engine's crankshaft.
Okay, now that we have looked at the gasoline engine, let's look at the...
Okay, so basically all you need to know for this is that the diesel engine, it has, well, diesel, and instead of the spark plug, it has nothing. And it explodes due to contraction of the gas, because that's just how diesel works. And I guess you're just gonna have to accept your fate. Oh, also, diesel smokes a lot.
Okay, now that we have talked about all of the standard engines, let's talk about a very particular engine. It is very special due to the way it works and due to its form. So now let's talk about it. It is called the...
When the imposter is us. Bum 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 bum. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun.
Okay, so the rotary engine is probably the goofiest engine in existence because of its look. And this is how it looks like.
Instead of the pistons, it has this weird looking triangle that is spinning on this axis, and the movement of it is also really sus when compared to the normal engine. Okay, so this engine is technically a one-stroke engine because every time it does something, it inhales gas, then it compresses it, then the gas explodes, pushing the triangle, and then it poops out the exhaust. You may have also noticed the way that the triangle spins, and the reason for that are the gears in the middle. The one in the very middle is completely stationary, and the one that is part of the triangle is connected to the middle gear and makes the triangle spin that way.
Now that we have looked at the rotary engine, why not look at another engine? The... It doesn't exist yet. Now that we have talked about a hydrogen combustion engine, let's talk about the most used engine in the world. It is very known and you probably don't expect this in this video. It is the...
Okay, I could have just tried explaining this in the class because we literally have one in the school building in the lab, but I don't know if I'm gonna be allowed to do this, so I guess I'm gonna have to do this in the video now. Okay, so an electric engine is basically just two magnets, and how it works is that whenever it turns, there are two pieces that disconnect and reconnect to the other port, so that the current always switches around, so that it keeps generating a magnetic pole that just makes it constantly spin.
Now that we have talked about the electric motor, I say this is it for the video. However, the presentation is not finished because I'm still gonna be answering questions, and because it's not really 9 minutes long. I mean 10. And yes, I'd say... Bye.